Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very important topic that I want to discuss with you all. Are guns hit scan on Apex Legends? The quick answer: only one. The charge rifle is the only gun that is hit scan on Apex Legends. All the other guns do have a specific velocity with them, and believe it or not, most of them are all very different. And because they're all different, we need to know their velocity. Quick shout out to Doki. I'm going to put his Twitter in the description down below if I can find it. He is a member of the Discord. If you would like to join our Discord, I'll have it in the description down below. What we're going to do today is also discuss all the velocities of every single gun on Apex Legends from slowest to fastest. This is important because you should know the velocity, because every gun is going to feel a little different, how much you have to lead with. And so we'll go from slowest to fastest. In the document that I provide, I copied and pasted, I put it by category. That's the way the doc was originally built, but I also separated it out by overall speed, so you can see just every gun and its various category. So let's start with every single gun, and you'll notice even with the wingman, just a first highlight, you see that there? You'll see that the velocity is very slow in the wingman. It's not the slowest gun, believe it or not, the actual slowest gun in the game is actually the Mozambique. We're not talking about bullet drop in this specific video, just to kind of highlight it, but there is bullet drop in the game. When you shoot, you'll notice just how long it takes, as the Mozambique is actually the slowest gun, velocity-wise. So if you're in a 1v1 encounter, and this also throws me off quite a bit as well, whenever you're just kind of lobbing the grenade, essentially, is what it feels like. The Mozambique is the slowest gun. Now, the next one on the list is the wingman, like we mentioned before. It's a little bit faster. The Mozambique is around 197 to 355 millimeters per second, or excuse me, meters per second. And then, of course, after that, we have the Prowler. Even though this is a care package weapon, this weapon should realistically not be in the care package. It does have a pretty slow bullet velocity. It's pretty close over when we have 365. The Peacekeeper is up next. Now, the Peacekeeper, when you shoot it at distance, you'll see the star effect really start to kick in, and it really there it goes. You can see more of the star pattern there whenever you go in a little bit of a different background. The next gun up next is the P2020. The P2020 has a velocity of 370. P2020 is quite slow, believe it or not, whenever you're shooting. And most people don't know, but there are targets all the way back there. You can see that target there. The next up after that would be the EVA 8. And I'll go and pick up the RE45 because that is also going to be up next after the EVA 8. So when we look at the EVA 8, the EVA 8 is at 383 meters per second. And let me grab that here and we can just take a shot. You'll notice you kind of see it kind of just slow down too a little bit. And then we have the RE45, which is just slightly faster. We see those bullets, they literally look like party grenades when you're shooting at that distance. And every gun does have a little bit of a different bullet velocity or bullet drop as well, and that's something to account for, especially whenever you're shooting these guns. After the RE45 is the Mastiff, so we're getting a little bit faster here, around 400 meters. The Mastiff as well as the Alternator have a very similar bullet velocity. So we pull up the Alternator here and just give a quick comparison between the two. You'll see that the bullet speed is almost the same. I know the document says 400. They're very similar. After the Alternator, the R99 is up next in terms of speed and bullet velocity. Just a reminder again, the video is from slowest to fastest, and you can kind of see it again. Getting a little faster. So once we're done with the R99, next on our list in terms of speed is the Flatline. Flatline is a little bit faster. You're starting to notice that it's hitting up on the indicator just a little faster than before, definitely compared to the Mozambique. Our next up on the list is the Spitfire. Spitfire is at 505 meters per second. The Flatline was at 475. The 3030 repeater was buffed. I don't know if this document is updated for that. You'll notice it's definitely faster. I know it just got a buff. Now, what's interesting is that the 3030 repeater, G7 Scout, and Kraber are all pretty much in a similar line. If you want to practice your Kraber shots, a good gun to practice with is going to be utilizing the G7 Scout or the 3030, because the velocity is pretty similar. The bullet drop is definitely different, though. I mean, you got to kind of get used to it, and there you go. Forgot the distance there for just a hot second. And then up next in line after the Kraber at 533 meters is the G7 Scout. So the G7 Scout is the next up on our list here at 558 meters. And there we go. There's the first shot there. And after that is the Hemlock. Hemlock is up next on our beautiful list. Let me grab the Hemlock, not the Flatline. Let me take a shot. There you go. You're starting to see that velocity really start to kick up. Quite nice. And then, believe it or not, the L-Star I thought was much slower. But this is why the L-Star was so good in arenas, is that at a range, you'll kind of see the velocity. Also, the fact that it's barely got any drop. What really throws off the L-Star, just big tip, is mostly the visual, how bright it is with the bullet. That's really what throws individuals off. The L-Star technically has a very similar velocity to the R301. That's very hard to believe, but whenever you shoot, you start to notice it. It's why, we just take a shot, and you take another one. You notice that the indicator pops up around the same time whenever you're shooting. It's just a matter of that visual flare that just gets in the way, that just really throws you off. That's why most don't use the L-Star, and it feels really overwhelming. Next on the list that's faster is the Volt. The Volt is at a total of 632 meters per second, and just to recap, the R301 is 585 and the L-Star is 575. The Volt is up next here. You'll start to notice a trend. The energy weapons are really some of the faster weapons in the game. They have a lot more speed compared to the shotguns and the light ammo, and of course we're going to see the snipers just pretty much dominate in terms of speed. So what's interesting is how fast the bowcheck bow is comparatively. I thought that the bowcheck bow when it first came out would definitely have been slower, but it really is not. I forgot energy weapons don't have any. Well, if you're shooting as if it was a light gun, there's a lot of recoil on this. But the velocity of the Havoc is faster than the bowcheck. The bowcheck is 705, and then we really get a kick up with the Havoc at 515. It's just the difference is that the velocity, there's really no... Energy weapons just have a massive perk over anything. And then we really start to pick up with the snipers. While the energy weapons have a lot more kick, the snipers have a lot more drop. And when I say kick, I mean like recoil. Of course, we have the snipers, and there's that first shot. The Sentinel is actually one of the slowest in terms of snipers. The longbow, and the Sentinel have the same velocity at 856. I'm gonna take a shot. Yeah, they're pretty much the same. Then the triple take is a little bit faster at 857. And then, of course, we have the Devotion at 905, which is crazy. This is why it was in the crate before. It's just got an insane velocity. The difference is it's just that kick. And, of course, that comes with its nice little choke there. So let's pull out the Devotion again just to showcase this. And you'll see the bullet is just like almost instantaneous. It's not almost landing there, but it's pretty close when I'm landing my shots, that is. But it's definitely a lot faster than the Wingman. So let's do a comparison from the slowest to the fastest almost. I'm going to use the Wingman because it's a lot more popular than the Mozambique, even though, yes, the Mozambique is the slowest, but I just kind of want to do a nice little comparison. So whenever you're using these weapons in close range, you really understand why it takes a second. So you see how long it takes to land. It takes a second. Versus a Devotion, if I just land the shot right, the difference it takes, right? Every gun still has its bullet velocity, as you can tell, versus a charge rifle that's hit scan. So I apologize if this video is a little longer. I just wanted to highlight some of the distance, showcase it, shoot the weapon just in the distance there so you can see when the hit marker hit. I apologize if I took a little bit extra of your time today, but the fast answer was there at the beginning of the video. Shout out to the community. I'll have my Discord link in the description. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.